Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am back at the reins, taking it back from the two corners over there, and I really don't know which way. But welcome to TC Talks. Yeah, I mean, I think we're on. Did you say episode 24?
24, yeah.
I mean,
24.
wow. I mean, that's just like crazy. And to think that we've even asked Jason back again. I mean, in fairness, we were running a little low on people to come and join. So, you know, you got to fill that space, haven't you? I mean, we probably could get away with just like putting a picture of a brick wall, and we probably get just as much sense out of it. But welcome to TC Talks. We are here, and tonight, if you've seen the title, we are talking scalpers.
You've been scalped, haven't you?
Not there. I haven't been scalped. I'm going bald. All right. Wow. I'm just for the purposes of this, I'm now going to hide Jason from the. So you don't have to look at his face for a while. I'm gonna do you all a favour out there, and say goodbye. No, I won't do that. I'm not that much of a meanie. But welcome to TC Talks. It's great to be back. I haven't been on the podcast for 2 weeks for various reasons. It is what it is. But I left the other stew in command with Jaymond.
I tried.
Yeah, with good old Jay, keeping him real. I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
Enlightening
we
him
took over,
in the.
hijacked it.
Well, this is it. They took over. I'm now back and taking back the reins. So, as always, we have the usual suspects on the podcast tonight. We have, obviously, Stu to my right. We have Jay down the bottom and
Hello.
Jason in the corner over there, looking very washed out.
I know.
That's actually what it looks like in his part of the world, down in the southeast.
Washed out.
It's all washed out.
It's the life dream.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's called £20 webcam from Amazon.
I mean, you know.
That's the job.
Yeah, it does the job. But guys, how has everybody's week been? Has everybody had a good week?
It's not bad. Yeah. I've injured myself for DIY for the fourth time in lockdown. I should just be put away from DIY, but I keep going back, and I keep hurting myself. But, yeah.
I want to come and watch you do DIY to see how you do this. All you were doing was chopping down a tree, weren't you?
Yeah, one of the branches it's basically a scratch, and the scratch got infected.
Like, don't have soap and water in Wales.
And you know you're meant to wear clothes as well, right?
Yeah, I was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have.
The naked gardener.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, not bad.
Good. Jay, you doing all right down there?
Yeah, I've not injured myself.
No, good. Not yet.
So that's a good start to the week. But yeah, usual for me, nothing exciting.
Yeah.
Working from home, in this never-ending,
ever-changing world.
I'm pretty sure it's March.
I don't know when it is.
It's the first day of autumn today as well, which is madness. I know.
Yeah. Stu's got it on a big calendar behind his monitor.
Yeah.
One of those big red circle.
I did notice today that I filled my car up with diesel back in March. I've got a big car, and I've only just got it to below quarter of a tank because that's how little I have driven since March, since not driving into the office.
That's pretty good. So you're buying all of us all Xboxes, yeah?
No, I've spent all that money on like Lego and Pokemon cards.
Yeah, and drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol to get me through the work days.
Yeah.
Why? What do you have for breakfast?
I like to start off with a chaser of paracetamol and ibuprofen first thing. Drank down with half a pint of scotch. Just a little starter.
I make it like a bowl of cereal, just the tablets in the whiskey.
I see. And then bolt. Yeah.
Feels like breakfast.
Yeah, it's like like Cheerios
Yeah.
or Rice Krispies.
It could be quite cheery after.
Yeah.
Well, not for very long afterwards. I don't think. I think you'll be cheery and then not so cheery.
It'll be cheery and then cheerio.
Yeah. Anyway, Jason, how's your week been?
Well, it's only Tuesday.
Anyway, on to the next bit.
But seriously, nothing much has happened.
No.
We've had Monday. That's it.
Do you know, it's got to that point now in this whole thing where we could probably skip that section. We could just like pre-record this section of the podcast and just repeat it week in, week out. Because this section, we're just like, and that's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's getting to that point now, especially now that it's getting dark as well. I mean, that doesn't help matters, you know.
I mean, quite quick.
Yeah, I mean, I was putting the son to bed this evening, giving him his milk, and it was more pitch black in his room than it usually is.
Well, that's because you put the sun to bed.
Yeah, I was thinking, did you bring the moon back out in its place?
Oh, wow. That was like Dag joke Maximus now.
I'm older than you guys, so.
Yes, you are.
Still got my hair.
I don't care. This is a life choice. I mean, you know, you ain't got one of these though. A great big bushy beard.
I could do, but she wouldn't kiss me. So.
I don't reckon you could.
If
you grew a beard like this, right? If you grew a beard like this, I'll buy you an Xbox Series S.
Don't
You know, I'm just saying. Anyway, let's move on. Let's swiftly move on. Let's get this party started. Let's get on to the news. Yes, it's news time. It's been a big old week or so, hasn't it? Really.
It's been somewhat exhausting.
It's been like, I have to admit though, I've never seen the Discord so busy since it has been these last couple of weeks. Now I know that since we moved across to Discord, it has become busier, and it's been, you know, it's actually been a nice place. And how when I first created Discord, how I envisaged it all to be. But these last couple of weeks have been incredibly busy. Like, I think
you've got news from all four players, haven't you? You've got big PC stuff, you've got big Sony stuff, you've got big Xbox stuff, and you've got Nintendo stuff. It's mad.
It's madness. I mean, in fairness, Nintendo sat there in the corner just going, we're just doing our own thing, you know.
But it's Mario's birthday, so they've been doing a lot of Mario stuff, lots of Mario news.
This is true. And poor old Luigi, he never gets a look in, does he?
No, he don't.
When's Luigi's birthday?
He doesn't get one.
Oh, okay. So
he
like
gets nothing and likes it.
Yeah, Luigi, you can get nothing and like it. So let us start at the beginning. Sponsored by Wraith.
I don't know where to even start.
Do you know what? Let's start with Nvidia, because that happened first.
Before the PlayStation event, did it?
Yeah.
Because
the Nvidia pre-orders were everyone starting to get worried about the PlayStation pre-orders.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
There's so much news, I don't know where I am in my timeline this week.
I mean, effectively, this section of the news is all about pre-orders.
Yes.
Effectively, that is what we're going to talk about for a few minutes.
So
we've got
Nvidia released the 3080s, didn't they?
Well, apparently so. Does anybody know someone that's got one?
I know someone.
You do.
I know one person who's managed to order one.
Order one though.
Because apparently they all got sold out in 3 minutes.
It's madness.
That's the Nvidia time. According to Nvidia, it was 3 minutes.
Yeah, and a nice little fun fact on the pre-orders. I'm not 100% confident of these statistics, but I'm like vaguely confident. On the Amazon website, they took 20,000 pre-orders for the Zotac card alone.
Oh wow! It's almost getting to console numbers. These are, aren't it? You know what I mean? Like
It's madness.
Brand of graphics. That's just one brand. There's several and some out there doing it.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, obviously, we all know what's going on around the world and things like that, but to have such a big pre-order release so failed, because
it's a graphics card. I don't remember it being like this ever on this scale.
I mean, obviously, it we can tell you a reason why, but we'd ruin the feature.
But historically, so say the 20 series, I do remember this going half.
Well, I think the difficulty is obviously Nvidia came out and there wasn't such a performance jump from the 10 series to the 20 series.
True. Yeah,
I think it was 15%, performance increase from like card. And then obviously, you bring RTX into it and that performance drops down anyway on the 20 series. And obviously with the benchmarks, sorry, Jay. Karen.
Sorry. I was going to say, I think if you factor in, like you say, the performance jump plus the price,
it is huge performance
jump. And one of the biggest games that a lot of people that are pretty excited to play is finally coming out in November, which is Cyberpunk, which is linked to all the Nvidia advertising as well.
Yes.
So you've got all that anticipation, people stuck at home wanting to play more games, the performance jump, the price, and suddenly a lot of people are interested.
Yeah, the performance jump at price. Even I'm due a card. I was like, I'm not too sure. I saw the specs and I was like, oh wow, even the 3070 is looking pretty awesome for the price. Sub 500 for that bad boy.
You get a PS5 for that.
Oh, excuse me.
Can you?
Well, you can't. Well, it depends where you go and buy it, really. If you go on eBay, you probably,
No chance.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw some benchmarks and stuff like that, and I think it was up to 90% on the 3080 was a 90% increase over the 2080, and for half the price.
It was a bunch of different games doing different benchmarks. The one that caught my eye was the latest Doom Eternal.
Yep.
110% increase in performance of the 2080 Ti to a 3080. 110. And that was at 1440. That was.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is
the staggering thing with the benchmarks is that the 4K frame rates were coming out at the same as pretty much what the 1440p benchmarks were. But the most fascinating thing that I saw was that you were getting so obviously the Ryzen 5 3600 is what they tout as the ultimate games processor, because it's I think it's 6 core 12 thread, I think.
Yeah, it's
something along those.
Good price to spec ratio is what
to
buy right.
And they were doing benchmarks of that and a 3080 along with the 3950 top tier processor with the 3850, and between the two processors there was a 5% difference in average frame rate.
Wow. So it's all on the GPU then.
You could pick up the 3600 at the moment. I saw them for 160 quid the other day. They dropped down quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, they're no good for doing multi-threading if you're doing video editing and things like that and what have you. But for that performance,
pure gaming basically.
It's just crazy, a crazy good performance. I mean, obviously that's assuming you can actually get hold of a 3080, because as we all know, they are readily available in your local scalping shop.
They're make-believe.
They are. I don't actually. Yeah. And do you know the thing that really annoys me is when you see all of these streamers and stuff with them, and you're like, you've not even had to even worry about trying to pre-order one, buy one. You've literally just been sent one.
Yeah, that's what I found interesting about some of the people I follow on Twitter. I follow quite a lot of podcasters and writers for places like IGN and Eurogamer and stuff, and even those guys are struggling with pre-orders. You know, they're not just gifted out all these gadgets like you might expect, but then the YouTubers and your streamers, influencers, dare I say, seem to just get these boxes of magic goodness just dropped on their doorstep.
It does take the mick a bit, because, you know, at the end of the day, they would be the people that would be able to afford, you know, 10 of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. It's madness. It really is. But
and then
PlayStation pre-orders.
Yeah. PlayStation event.
Yeah, the PlayStation event
seemed non-eventful.
No, it was an odd show. The games they showed were really good. Like, I think all of the games there, I was like, oh, I'll get that. Oh, I'll play that. I was quite excited about all the games. Demon's Souls in particular, as a big Souls fan, that remake looks incredible. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
But as a show, as a pure show, taking all the sort of the subjective substance out, my word, was that show a mess.
Yeah.
They managed to not tell you any launch dates, when pre-orders are actually opening, or anything until some tweets and blog posts afterwards. So it was like the show finished and it's like, that all looks good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The prices were good.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, all these games are on launch and they're all out tomorrow and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, what's going on?
And by the way, if you have PlayStation Plus, you can download 18 of the best classic games.
Yeah. So the actual show, whilst the content, the pure content was great.
Yeah.
It was actually all the stuff afterwards where it was like, oh, by the way, including some interesting bits around some questionable exclusivity, which I doubt we'll get onto. But
are we talking Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy and Demon's Souls.
I hear they messed up the video on that.
Yeah. So
I heard Sony released that little snippet at the end before they should have.
Yeah, so it's looking likely that Demons might be hitting PC. It won't ever hit Xbox because Sony do own the IP, so they do physically own that, even though it was made by From Software. But then Final Fantasy, which came up in big letters, console exclusive,
and then little letters.
Little letters said also coming to PC. But then it turns out it's actually a timed exclusive and will be coming to Xbox at some point. So,
right.
The show itself, like I said, the games all looked brilliant. But the messaging was, I was having a panic attack trying to write the article afterwards. It was just
Has that actually been confirmed or anything yet? Or
so, which one?
Well, let's start with Final Fantasy.
So that all mention of PC and Xbox have been stripped from the internet on Sony's request. And when IGN and Eurogamer and places like that reached out for comment, Square Enix said, we can only tell you that it's coming to PlayStation 5, basically.
Right.
But then some insiders that actually work at Square, as I understand it, have said it's coming to PlayStation 5. 6 months later, it's coming to PC, and then 6 months after that, it could come out on anything effectively.
Yeah, it's coming out to
so
iOS.
It's not necessarily coming out on Xbox, but the deal runs out at that point.
Yeah.
So it's all quite messy messaging. I don't think anyone has a problem with it coming to Xbox, because if you're a PlayStation guy, you're going to own the PlayStation and play the game anyway. It's just weird messaging that they had going on. Really weird.
Yeah, it definitely raised a few eyebrows from what I could see sort of in the Twitter sphere and stuff like that.
Just odd. But then, like I say, the content, brilliant. The dates, brilliant. Prices, brilliant. All that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm all for it. I've obviously got my pre-order because I'm me.
Obviously.
But yeah, just as a show, if you just took that show in a bubble, you wouldn't really know what's going on. It's really...
To me, watching that show was like watching the show before that, just with a little bit more extended bits, and the only bit I cared about was the last 2 slides.
Yeah.
That was the bit. That was all the drama for me. I just wanted to see the price and release and what's going on. Yeah,
it felt to me like, because the week before, Microsoft, due to a leak, to be fair, had to announce the Series S, and they announced their prices and when you could pre-order and that sort of stuff. It almost felt like Sony quickly went, well, we've got this show, let's tweak it a bit and get pre-orders out before Xbox do, and we'll... It just kind of... They almost tripped at the last hurdle of that particular show.
Yeah.
Not that, again, people are obviously excited for the console and the games. It was just purely the messaging that they had trouble with, I think.
It's a shame, really, because it was Sony's opportunity to really kind of
put it
to Microsoft.
I mean, even now, the only real life pictures of a PlayStation we've seen have been leaks from a factory.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the UI. We don't really know how back compatibility is working. It's looking like you can put your games in, but you don't know if you're getting any enhancements, for example.
Yeah.
So even now, I've pre-ordered this 450 quid machine because I want to play Demon's Souls and Spider-Man. But then I don't really know much about what I'm getting other than... Yeah,
it is one of those, and obviously I've got my pre-order as well with the digital version, so obviously I can't put my games in. So how's that going to work? Am I going to be... Obviously, I know I can, if it's a PS5 enhanced version of the game, I can get the patch and download that. But say, for example, am I going to be able to play my PS4 library on the PS5 by downloading... if I have a digital game on the PS4, how's that backwards compatibility going to work? And
it's not immediately clear. Like I say, I'd imagine when we get these machines on launch day, it'll be fine to use. The games will be great, etc.
Astrobot
like
will be great.
It's purely a messaging problem. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Another thing that came out which did make me chuckle. Is that Spider-Man, Horizon 2 and a few others were announced to also be on PS4. So they kind of let Microsoft take a lot of flack about 6 months ago for saying, oh, these games will also be on Xbox One and PC. And then they kept quiet until, again, the last minute to go, oh, by the way, they're on PS4.
Yeah, do you kind of think, because it really does shout like... Sony have just been sat there thinking, oh man, we're literally doing exactly what Microsoft had just announced.
Yeah.
I think right, don't say anything. Don't say anything. We'll wait until last minute and then we'll just dump all of this news on people and hope people don't notice.
Yeah, I think there is an element of that. I think, like I say, it's just bad messaging. I don't think they had it... I don't know, it felt a bit rushed, even though it's taken a year to get all this information.
Yeah.
Very odd, but like I say, got it ordered. I'm excited for the games. That's ultimately the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and at least now we know when we're actually going to get it and how much it's going to cost us.
Yeah, and I think the prices are good.
The prices are very
happy
good
with them. Yeah. So I'm excited.
I've got Stu just glazed over there.
I mean, to be fair, I was even shocked that Sony went close to Xbox, to be honest. I feel like they historically are stubborn and they would have just whacked up the price just because they're Sony. I felt a little bit like that. From an outsider looking in, that's what I've always felt like with Sony. But I was like, I'm actually quite surprised they're actually going almost head-to-head with the prices. And a little better, actually, with a digital one, I think.
Well, I think they had to. Because Microsoft, we'll move on to the Microsoft side of things as well. But Microsoft is such a good value prospect in that little console. And here we go. It's that word again. With the Game Pass, it's the Game Pass. That Game Pass service that they do, where you can get some games for a monthly subscription.
for both Xbox and PC.
Yeah, I think that prospect is so good by releasing your latest titles on there. I mean, yes, they never say how long they're going to be on there for, but like Sea of Thieves has been on there for like forever.
Yeah,
Gears of War have been on there for like forever.
Yeah,
it seems that they don't take down their first party games. They kind of just take off like the smaller titles, like Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think has been. Yeah. And I think the thing with Sony is that they had to either equal or better the price that Microsoft had, because at the end of the day, it's a business. They want to make those sales. And I think if they would have come around and said, oh, you can get our PS5 for £499, people would have gone, well, I'm not getting anything extra, because you don't get a Game Pass style service on the PlayStation, or PlayStation 5. You obviously have PS Now on the PS4, and I guess that's going to continue, but it's nowhere near to the same standard as what Game Pass is. I mean,
and it goes slightly beyond that as well because of accessories. Because you can use all your old pads on the new Xbox. You can use your same headset, or all your gadgets still work as well. So if you look at my Amazon orders, I've got the Xbox just by itself because I don't need to buy anything else, because I get all the games, I get all my stuff works on it. It is a bit like buying a new phone. You just buy the phone and everything's there. But the PlayStation, I've got the PlayStation, a couple of games, and then obviously you've got the headset if you want that, and the media remote and things like that. So it's weird.
But half the selling point of the PS5 though is the sexy new controller with the haptic feedback, isn't it? Which Xbox hasn't got anything like that, is it? On the new one?
Well, it's got the feedback, but it doesn't have. So what Sony's one can do is it can lock the triggers.
Yeah, it's got adaptive triggers. So if you're pulling a bow, it gets tighter as you pull the string. And
But
apparently,
no one knows.
Again, apart from Jeff Keighley, apart from Jeff, playing that Astrobot demo, there's not been any kind of real indicator of how it's supposed to work. Like, you're supposed to be able to feel the rain and the sand under your foot and things like that, but
also with that, will it get used? Because the Switch had the same type of haptic feedback, and they
you play 1-2 Switch, all right? You play 1-2 Switch, amazing game with that.
Yeah, but it's not in
and
the
that's
light.
It.
They removed all that feedback from their second revision of the Switch. So is that because developers weren't using it?
Well, I think that's the other thing, isn't it? Like, all this haptic feedback has to increase development time. So is it only going to get used properly on first-party games?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
But like you say, we've pre-ordered it for the games, and that's the reason we've pre-ordered it. And Xbox pre-orders has obviously gone live. Was that today or yesterday?
Today
was it?
Yeah, today.
For some people, it was yesterday because it's all been local time. So over in Australia and things, they started seeing theirs basically yesterday.
Yeah.
It's all still going on at the moment in the US by the sounds of it, with sites obviously getting absolutely hammered for pre-orders.
But it seems a funny old one. The pre-orders for the Xbox, is the Series X is obviously sold out everywhere, but there seems to be, obviously like we experienced earlier, there seems to be a Series S pretty much relatively readily available.
I guess just reuse a lot of those Xbox parts. The X processors. Probably had a lot of them hanging around, maybe.
Well, the Series S is actually the same CPU and chipset as the Series X, rather than the old chipset. But I think
it's literally just the GPU that's different.
Yeah, that's right, and a slightly less RAM, I think, as well.
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. But
Coral has just hosted us.
Hello.
Thank you, Coral. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I think if you look at what the two Xboxes are doing, outside of a small handful of people maybe buying it as a secondary console and things like that, would you pre-order the Series S, or would it be more of a impulse buy? Impulse buy at a shop, or oh, now there's some games I want, I'll grab one. Whereas the X are people that want the full Xbox and things like that. I'm not sure I would have expected the Series S to sell out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've pre-ordered a Series S, and like you say, I'm going to be using it as a secondary console, kind of. You know, if I fancy just playing something on the front room, I don't envisage using it weekly. I might use it a couple of times, you know, to show off a game to somebody in the front room rather than, you know, sat out here around the PC and stuff like that. So, but it's such a great prospect, and obviously now that Game Pass has gone to full price, you know, £8 for Game Pass on PC, pay an extra £3 and you have Game Pass on PC, Game Pass on Xbox Live and xCloud.
On your phone,
yeah.
You know, I think that just it's kind of a no-brainer, really. To you know, and then so and then with the play anywhere and stuff like that, I can play Forza on my PC. I can upload my game save. I can go in the front room. I can play it on the big screen TV, chilling out, and have all my game saves and stuff like that. So it is what it is.
I'm just, I don't think the Series S will sell out as a pre-order, but I think it will sell out when it comes to sort of Black Friday through to Christmas time.
Yeah, I think when people realise
that budget sort of market rather than
250 quid. I mean,
it's mad.
It's nothing.
Just mad.
It's nothing really, is it?
It's low.
The most of the people I know getting the next gen have picked up the Series S because it's just cheap. It's just cheap.
You know,
I think it will sell out, but I don't think it was ever going to be a day one sellout. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know, as the day progresses, I know it's nearly the end of the day here, but then there's obviously America are only halfway through the day and things. It could sell out. I don't know, but I'm not sure it will.
Yeah, the big selling point of the Xbox is the Series X.
Yeah,
you know?
that's your big next gen box. That's your PS5, if you like. That's your full spec. This is the best.
I'm disappointed that we didn't see a Series V that was touted.
Like a digital X.
Yeah, exactly. Half an X.
I can see it working. I mean, out of the two consoles, I've gone full fat on the PS5, but I probably would have gone digital with the Xbox. Like if there was a digital only Series X, I probably would have got that, to be fair. Yeah.
But anyway, talking about pre-orders brings us on to obviously our feature of the evening.
We've missed probably one of the biggest news reports ever in gaming, though.
We will come to it. We will come to the
We'll save
merger.
that to the end.
All right. Because it kind of, you know, do you know what? No, let's go back to it. So obviously it got announced today that Xbox have bought a little small independent company. Is that
little indie company called Cinemax?
Yeah. Obviously is the holding company of Bethesda.
For cash as well. So they just slung that cash on the desk.
They just wheelbarrowed in $7.5 billion worth of cash.
Yeah. It's so much money that it's not real money. It's all like make-believe magic numbers at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that is a massive thing.
And the big pointed to this Bethesda buyout is Game Pass. Again, it's all pointing to that. They want to quadruple their numbers by the end of the year.
Yeah. And I think if they turn around and say
between April and now they've gone up 5 million.
Yeah, in April they reported 10 million, and as part of this merger news yesterday, I think it's gone up to 15. So 6 months, call it. They've gone up 5 million.
Yeah.
And now
they're going full in for this Game Pass, basically.
And now all of Bethesda's, ID's, Arcane's, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, and all the other ones that are under that umbrella are all in the service. So
yeah,
that's just
huge.
I mean, that poor 1 terabyte NVMe drive in your Xbox Series X is going to get slammed.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I can just plug an external hard drive in.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think it's a phenomenal business move.
It's insane. It's insane.
You know,
$7.5 billion.
Well,
yeah,
just
I mean,
Disney
current exchange rate is like 50 quid, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion.
It's more than Disney paid for Lucas and Marvel put
Yes,
together.
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is.
Blimey. So how's Sony going to come back? Who are they going to buy them?
Ubisoft, probably.
Interestingly, if you look at that price, I put a list again in the Discord that we've got going. I put a little list that I found online.
Yeah, you did.
The next lot of big publishers that are below that value, and you've got Bandai Namco, Sega, Konami, Ubisoft, and Square Enix.
Yeah, so it would have to be Ubisoft, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Square Enix, if they keep on going in their pocket all the time with Sony.
Yeah, I'd say if Sony were to do it and the companies were willing, Square would probably be a good fit for them, or Bandai Namco for the same reason.
Yeah.
But also the question is, have Microsoft stopped, or are they still shopping?
Well, like what you saw earlier on the old interwebs was the Valhalla stuff. Obviously, that is
that was interesting.
It's either one of two options. It's either enhanced and optimized for the Series X, or it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, it's
either way.
They're bringing the Ubisoft pass, like EA. That'd be interesting.
Either way, there's favoritism there towards Xbox.
Yeah, there's certainly a marketing deal. There's certainly a marketing deal, if nothing else. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen any optimized for PlayStation 5 games.
Well, do they kind of, like, I know it's silly, but Microsoft have all the silly marketing terms for things like velocity architecture and smart delivery and all this. Sony don't really have that. So
no, they just go, you can play games.
Yeah, so I'm not sure that it's not optimized for PS5. It's
I'm not saying that it's not going to be optimized.
Label on it, don't they?
Well, I mean, like Dirt 5, for example, it's optimized to be running at 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be running at 120 frames on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one.
Yeah. But I mean, that Bethesda news, I think, shocked quite a lot of people. Obviously, the word on the street is, what are they going to do? Are these going to become exclusive games and all this and all that? And in fairness, only time will tell. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, we won't know until we know.
No, I would think Microsoft, especially with Phil Spencer's stance that everybody should play everything as well.
Apart from people who own a PlayStation.
Well, I think
that's the proviso for his statement. Obviously, he wants everybody to play everything, but only on the Xbox infrastructure. He's not going to say everybody play everything. Go and play Mario Kart. Yeah. No.
It's a tricky conversation, isn't it? Because on the one hand, we're talking about some massive IPs here.
Yeah.
And it would be, I'd want to still see them on PlayStation and things like that because, they're well-established classic franchises.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the new games coming out there are going to be day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, that to me is the selling point to perhaps go with Xbox instead of PlayStation because instead of 70 quid, it's just there on your console.
Yeah.
But if you're buying this studio, I mean, if Sony bought them, they'd never find their way onto an Xbox.
No.
That's just how Sony work.
Yeah, if Sony bought them, they would have been like, look, not being funny, but you can't be released on an Xbox console.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked to even be on a PC. But
probably 3 years later it will come to PC.
3 years later, yeah.
What I'd perhaps like to see is that Microsoft almost use it as a bargaining chip to stop Sony doing all the silly money hatting of exclusives. And say, you can have Fallout as long as you stop buying a years of exclusivity on this game and that game. So at least it's a bit more of a partnership between the big companies to get rid of some of the bad practices and perhaps encourage some of the better ones. But like you said, Stu, only time's going to tell on this one. We just don't know.
Yeah, you don't want Microsoft to end up being like a monopoly or something.
Yeah, I mean, they now have more developer studios than any other company.
Yeah.
Nowhere near a monopoly, but they have the most now under one umbrella.
Yeah. And some of the studios that they've bought over the past 12 months have been some phenomenal studios.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary. It's scary because they could easily turn around and say, as part of this deal, as part of us giving you, buying your studio and everything, you are now exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah.
And there will be so many people that will miss out on so many amazing games that you would be forced to buy an Xbox.
Yeah. But equally, they've also made it the most affordable way to play these games.
Well, yeah.
Like I say, if it was the other way around and Sony bought this, you would only be able to buy each game for 70 quid each. Because
they would never add
expensive machine compared to the Series S with Game Pass, for example. So it's
that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you put yourself in my situation with the Series S. Take out my PC. Take the PC out of the equation. I've got my Xbox Series S. I'm sat there. The new Doom comes out. I just download it day one, preload it. It's ready to go there. As soon as the timer ticks over midnight, I can play it for £8 for that month. And you could effectively say, well, I can complete that in a week if I played it enough. So for that £2 for the week, I've got a full price game that Sony would charge £60-70 for, and I've played it and finished it.
Yeah. Or you've played it, not liked it, uninstalled it, and you've not lost 70 quid.
And you've not, and you haven't lost £68 because of.
That happens a lot on PC games. I've spent £30 on a game and went, this is trash.
Yeah.
Now what I'm going to do with it? I now own it. Great.
Yeah. The advantage with PC is obviously on Steam and Epic you can get refunds on your games.
This is actually I bought it from CD Keys.
You failed.
But it was like £20 cheaper on CD Keys. It was kind of like
there you go.
No.
There you go. But as we are approaching the final sort of 10-15 minutes, we haven't even touched on our feature. Which is probably a good thing that we don't spend too much time on it. So for the purposes of the feature, I'm going to run the little animation again. There we go. There's the animation. Beautiful. Carl has dropped into the chat asking, where's Dan's ugly head? Dan can't be here right now.
He can't come to the phone right now.
To be fair, I mean, I don't know where he is, to be fair. Does anyone know where Dan is?
No.
Is he on Facebook?
He's online.
He's on Facebook.
He was online, yeah. But yeah, so let's talk about Scalpers. So Jay, oh, what are you?
Wait. There's 4 minutes left, and my PS5 disc version is 590 quid. Do you reckon that's a bargain?
What? By 2?
It said 14 bids, but it's free P&P. But that sounds good.
All I'm going to say is, if you're out there and you're buying a digital PlayStation, disc PlayStation, Xbox 3080 for more than the retail value, you're a mug.
Stop it.
You're the problem. But Jay, how do you feel about Scalpers?
Annoying. It's just, there's two sides to it, because you've just addressed it right there. Scalpers are knobs.
Obviously.
Then they only do it because you get the morons that buy it.
Yeah. I said to my wife that we were talking about Scalpers tonight and explained it to her, and she went, what, entrepreneurs? And I was like, go away. So I walked out of the room.
It's particularly mad for me because it's not like Sony and Microsoft have gone, oh yeah, we're not making any more. This all we're ever making. We're only ever making those ones on that day. Just wait a week, you know, and you'll probably get one. You'll probably be able to walk into, you know, Tesco or whatever, do your shopping and go, oh, they've got a PS5 in stock. So it's just, that's the side that baffles me. It's not like a rare limited edition thing. It's something that is mass produced.
Do you know the thing that bamboozles me most? And I saw this on Facebook earlier. Someone is selling a £20 pre-order receipt. The receipt for £125. So not the console.
Just a deposit to guarantee a machine, but not the machine, right?
And you're like, what is going on with the world?
It's mad, and I think like with the timing of everything as well, and the fact that everyone's spending probably more time at home, as well as it now being obviously pre-release. Let's go and get this thing. This is like the best toy for Christmas kind of thing. It's going to cause this to happen, and like Jay said, it's not going to be a limited run, is it? It's going to be lots more consoles coming out, pumping in. But I think with all the frenzy that's going to be happening, and you're going to be seeing around you, and the kids are going to be whining at you, oh daddy, I want this PlayStation, no, I want this Xbox, or saying some people are going to crumble, and like you say, the scalpers are going to benefit, aren't they?
It's
I do wonder if so Xbox has this all access principle.
Yes.
I do wonder if that's the start towards stopping this sort of behavior, because that's more of a, you have to almost lock into a contract.
Yeah.
So if you could only, for example, buy an Xbox that way, Scalpers
you wouldn't
can't
have
do
it, would
anything.
you? Do you know what I think they could also do? Limit one per household.
Yeah, a lot of sites do that, to be fair. I was browsing around earlier, and even Amazon had a disclaimer when I pre-ordered my Xbox this morning saying one per household. So if you did chuck, obviously the big thing with Scalpers is bots that just, you know, refresh, buy. If you just had a bot aiming at Amazon or a few other sites I looked at earlier, you actually would only get one.
Yeah, that's it. And it was the same, to be fair, with the 3080s. And Carl in chat said that he's only going to buy a 3080 from Nvidia or overclockers or something like that.
Yeah,
which you know, I'm after a 3080 as well. I'm not in as much of a hurry to get one because I'm running a 2080 at the moment. Obviously, Jason's in a hurry for me to get one. But at the same time, I'm not going to pay over and above what the going rate is. And I think, like you say, it's really difficult because there are people out there that will even just pay an extra 50 quid of what the console's worth. You know, they'll pay £500 for a PlayStation 5, like disc version. And you're like, well, just like you say, Jay, just wait until they actually get released. I'm pretty sure that Sony have said that you'll be able to go into a shop on like day one and get some.
Yeah, I think both Microsoft and Sony have said some more stock will arrive before the launch date, so pre-orders will open up again here and there. But also, like you say, they'll probably have more in stock on the day, a week later, a couple of weeks later, etc., etc. It's not like it's not some weird rare thing.
Yeah, 50 units worldwide.
Yeah, fight.
Yeah, it would be
Battle Royale.
It would be, wouldn't it? That'd be great. We would literally turn into like Mad Max at the Thunderdome, wouldn't it?
2 meters apart, of course.
Obviously. And you're only allowed 6 in the ring at once.
I think
that would be the world's boringest Royal Rumble, wouldn't
it? Just not allowed near.
Yeah.
Tasers.
Oh.
I think Nvidia were hit the worst with this, weren't they? With the 30 series.
Do you see their solution?
I haven't. Go for it.
So they've done 2 things. Number one, they are actively looking at eBay auctions to try and match up sales they've done. Fair enough. Cool. And they put a capture box on their website so you can't run a bot.
Excellent.
Well,
I say you can't run a bot.
Yeah.
There's ways around it, but that's literally there. I mean, the first solution's not bad. Go after them, cancel their pre-order. Cool.
Yeah.
The second one's like, oh really? Just a capture box.
Yeah,
you still have like 5 cards per house or whatever. There's no limit at the moment, but yeah, it's quite interesting to be honest.
Yeah, I might just get a 3090 and be done with it. Like you say, the 3070 is up for pre-order towards the end of this month. Actually, is it like the 24th or something?
Oh, I thought, yeah, it's the 24th. It's out in
only 2
October,
days.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's out in October, but you can pre-order from the 24th, I thought.
Yes, that's only 2 days away.
Yeah, and I
So
thought
it'll all happen again.
the 3090 was like the 16th of October or something.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
But like,
I'm probably just
again,
making up dates.
like, you know, I want a 3070. I ain't gonna pay over the odds. I'm gonna wait until it's stock, and I'm gonna look for the best deal. I ain't gonna be paying more than I need to.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You just need to be a bit patient, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. The problem is, I think maybe because of lockdown and people in front of their phones and computers all the time,
No,
they want to keep up with the Joneses. As they
don't
used to
justify
call
them.
it.
They're
Like,
idiots.
Yeah, no, it's 100%
Rich idiots.
Yeah, stupid rich idiots.
that can't be bothered to wait and want it right now. What's the there's a word for it that everybody wants instant wins,
Idiot.
basically, and they pay. Yeah, just
FOMO.
just silly.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Fear of
But it's
missing out.
like, well, it's like there's 2 guys on the TC team that have pre-ordered 3080s. You know, I know Nathan has got his pre-order in, and Sam has got his pre-order in. No indication of when they're going to get it.
Yeah,
Because you know there's so much like stock that's been coming. Like, I don't know if you saw on the Discord. I think it was Nathan that posted that little spreadsheet that you can work out when you're going to receive it. And apparently he's 934th in the queue for his version alone of the GPU.
that was from Overclockers, wasn't it? Was it from
Yeah,
Overclockers?
yeah.
So that's just one website as well.
Yeah. That's the thing that always confuses me with pre-orders, because I can understand selling out day one because you've got 100 units, you've sold 100, fair enough. That's all that's getting on day one. But why can you not still order it just without a guaranteed date? Because people
just
would
get your
do
name
that.
down.
Yeah, people would do that before they turn to eBay and things like that.
Yeah.
Interestingly, on a completely unrelated medium, Warhammer released a massive special set earlier this year. Sold out because of scalpers, all showed up on eBay. So they literally just opened it up to back orders on the store. All the scalpers ended up not selling anything and cancelling all their orders.
Yeah. Because that's effectively all they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
that's all you need to do is put your name in the queue and just wait in the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need to do.
Yeah. Whilst I'm excited for the new consoles, I'm lucky enough that I've hit the window and got the pre-orders in. I'd still have happily ordered with Amazon and been told, actually, you're not day one. You might be a month later. At least I'd know. I'd be disappointed, but I'd be like, well, I've got the money there. You know, that's all taken care of. I'll just wait till it's ready. I'd much rather do that than face going
not knowing, because I think that's the difficult thing, isn't it, for a lot of people?
Yeah,
is that just not knowing when they're. Yeah, and like you say, at least then you know that you've got that pre-order. There are so many people out there today that don't know if they're going to be able to get an Xbox Series X on day one, and that also then spreads fear, and obviously
and panic.
Fear, and then panic, and fear overtakes logic, and everything like this. Whereas if say it again,
fear leads to hate,
hate leads to suffering.
Yeah,
you know,
etc.
You know how it goes. But it's that thing where if they would allow you to just pre-order it and say, right, you're in a queue, this is your rough position in a queue. We don't know when we're going to get stock in. We don't know our allocation of stock. We don't know we're not going to know all these things, but you have got a guaranteed console. Like I say, with Amazon, they don't take the money until dispatch. So if you then found somewhere else that was selling them, you could cancel you could cancel that pre-order. So at least you wouldn't be going without.
I would have thought that would also give the retailers more power, because they could literally go to Sony or Nvidia. We've actually got 50,000 waiting here.
Yeah.
So if you send us a bit more, in the next shipment, you're guaranteed that money because we've got it all lined up.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
I know that I've got my Series S pre-ordered. That'll get dispatched roughly probably around the 8th of November. The 8th or 9th of November for delivery on the 10th. But Amazon know that unless I cancel that pre-order, that money's going to be going to them or to whoever the supplier comes from. So like you say, why not just allow people to pre-order? They can get a list. You can find out your sales figures. You can find out how many units you're looking to sell, and then adjust. Microsoft, if they value Amazon or if Sony value Amazon's sales, they can prioritize selling consoles there.
Yeah. And like
it's not that difficult, is it?
You just cancel. If you think, well, I've not heard anything on this for a couple of weeks, but I noticed that place over there's got some. Yeah. Maybe I'll order it from there. As long as as long as the message is clear.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed it on this date. You're in a queue. We don't know when the stock comes in.
Yeah.
Then, don't you sort of know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah. Well, they do it a lot on. Say again,
as long as they don't take all the money up front like Argos was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Were they doing that?
They did what?
They took full payment. Like there and then.
For the PS5?
Yeah.
Never shop at Argos.
Have you pre-ordered a PS5 from Argos, Chase?
No. I haven't pre-ordered anything.
But that's it though, isn't it? You need to pick your retailer. You need to pick your retailer wisely. And I think
interestingly, breaking news whilst we've been recording the podcast, it's come to light that Game have secretly added delivery onto all their next-gen console orders.
Oh, that's naughty, isn't it?
They only ever do free delivery, apparently, and snuck on a £10 delivery charge to PS5 and Xbox Series orders.
That sounds exactly like Game.
Yeah.
Exactly like Game.
I mean, I don't know why we're surprised.
I read it just now and went,
I used to work
people
for
still use Game? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, me too. Game represent.
So if you've ordered with Game, you might want to double check that invoice that's coming, because obviously you've not paid yet. Again, it's pay on dispatch, I believe. So a lot of people haven't noticed until they've gone back to double check. Oh yeah, my order's definitely in, and then they've gone, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? Like they were making, everybody was like, oh, I might get that email to say I haven't got one now and things like that. So people, they were like, go back and check your pre-order, make sure you've got it, and blah, 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 and all this and all that. And so, that's obviously what's brought that in. Funnily enough, just looking on Overclocker's website now, you can pre-order your beautiful 3080 card, and it should tell you where you are in the queue, roughly.
That's kind of cool.
I don't know how accurate it is.
I've never really shopped on Overclockers, to be fair. They've always, historically, when I bought stuff, a little bit more pricier, but I guess if all the cards are coming at the same price anyway, it doesn't really matter too much, does it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted by the Tough Gaming card.
The Asus ones.
Yeah. And I can, I could add it to my cart now and pre-order it and pay up front and stuff like that. But they envisage, I think their available date is something like 31st of November.
I don't see myself getting a card this side of Christmas, to be honest.
But at the same time, you don't need one.
Exactly.
You've got a PC that works. Same as me, I've got a PC that works.
it does what I needed to do right now. It'd be nice to have a little upgrade, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It would be. But overall, Scalpers bad.
Terrible.
Yes.
Scalpers.
Did I ever tell you the story when I worked in game when I sold Xbox 360s at a profit?
Yep.
But that was to CEX, mind. And we did it 4 times.
Shocking.
And then their price then was like break even. They were like, "Oh, we won't do this anymore."
I worked at game during the launch of the Nintendo Wii, which was chaos in terms of A, getting stock, and then B, trying to wheedle out who was buying it for them rather than just buying it to flog it.
Yeah. So, the people that buy 6 consoles, they're buying it to flog it.
Yeah, definitely giveaway.
Usually
we almost had to... it probably isn't even a thing you're legally allowed to do, but we almost had to enforce that you bought stuff with it. Because if you were buying it for yourself, you were probably buying a game, at least, a controller, whatever.
Yeah.
But some people did only, it came with a game at the end of the day. Wii Sports was in the box, so some people did just want to buy the console with nothing else. So it was a nightmare.
My only experience, since you guys are talking about game, was going in once to trade in my Wii to get an Xbox 360, and the guy there was telling me how much all the different peripherals were in the games, and there was women behind me literally offering me double what the guy was giving me for each of the components. So I was literally there, he was telling the price, and I was just dealing with them in cash, and I had enough then to buy the Xbox 360 outright.
Wow. Did you feel like one of those, like those like the auctioneers, like 145, 145,
I was probably, if I had the fake tan, I'd be right like old Dickinson that day, I tell you.
Fake tan.
I just had pop up as well. If you're after EVGA card as well, Stu, apparently the next 2 weeks they have thousands coming in to stock. Yeah,
the EVGA one. We'll see. We'll see what it's like when I get paid.
That's what I mean.
Don't get FOMO.
I'm not going. I'll buy it at the right price as long as it's below £2,000.
£30 on CD keys.
Ah, bloody hell.
It's a bit
I've been watching a lot of Fireman Sam recently.
I actually know somebody who actually done a lot of work for that. Actually.
Nice.
Some of the animations and stuff.
Oh, Jupiter, stuck under the bridge it is. Yeah.
Bloody Norman.
Oh, Norman. Not
Scout
Norman. Oh, Jay's like, shut up.
I remember Fireman Sam from when I was young. That's about it. Fireman Sam and Postman Pat.
Much better now.
What one are you talking the claymation, or are you talking about the actual cartoon version?
Claymation, none of that CGI nonsense.
I was just age checking you.
Yeah, I'm old.
Jason's one, he used to read it on tablets when he used to watch it.
The stone tablets.
Yeah.
I still remember a program called Finger Mouse.
And on that note,
That wasn't
yes, it's true.
yeah. You shouldn't be watching that with Thomas. But anyway, I think we need to end here before we start swearing about scalpers and calling them names that can't be repeated during the hours of 8 and 6. Because Jay looks like he's like ready to burst. He's
I'm just anxious to get playing something. I've been on silly xCloud because it's so convenient.
And there is a good reason for being on xCloud, obviously.
Just sit there and play it wildly.
Yeah.
Actually, before we go, that cool little thing you shared in Discord, Jay, about a person on Hot UK deals managed to find an eBay auction and get it cancelled, didn't they?
No, they through an eBay auction they managed to find the original order.
Right.
So effectively they know. I think some stuff was blurred out, just not very well.
Yeah.
So like the order number and things like that. So they got in touch with, for example, Game and said, "Oh, this is my order number. I want to cancel it, please."
Wow, that's brilliant.
So they effectively cancelled the Scalpers order.
That's brilliant.
Which quite amusing.
Yeah.
We saw it on Twitter. Don't know if it's genuine or not, but it made me chuckle. Hopefully, it's a genuine thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good if it's genuine.
Yeah. There is a good news story at the end of this podcast. Yeah. But as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend this last hour with you guys. It's been a great pleasure. And you've been back from a 2 week I am back from my hiatus. Yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week.
Jesus.
I know. For 1 week only. I'm actually on holiday next week. I'm off to Centre Parks.
Nice. Which one?
The one in the Lake District.
The one in the middle.
Yeah. The one in the Lake District.
I've only been to the long week one. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, having a nice little time away with the family, a bit of recharging some batteries and what have you. But I will still be around in the Discord. So obviously, if anybody's out there and you want to know more about us, find us on social media. Find us on Twitter, @thumb_culture, and join in the conversation. We're getting also, quite active. Oh.
We're on Amazon Music now.
Yes, we are. We're literally, I think we're everywhere now.
We are literally everywhere.
Yeah. So it's going well. The podcast is good. We're up to episode 24. Episode 25 will be recorded next week. I don't know who will be on it, but someone will be. Guys, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for listening out there. If you've been watching this live or on YouTube, thank you very much for watching and taking the time out of your busy schedules. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Toodles.